Yakuza May Cry Black Flag is a playable psychotic episode / revolutionary new experiment in game design, where instead of thinking about what you're trying to make, you just go, hey, wouldn't it be really funny if? You play as Captain Gore Magala, a washed-up hardened career criminal from the fictitious island of Nippon, currently making great use of the American right to own black powder weaponry without permits. In this chemical substance-inspired story, a secret society of the world's elite and Samoa Joe, I guess, have turned a graveyard of ships inside a cave into a pirate-themed abusement park, complete with do-it-yourself, brigantine-shaped, lethal munitions-equipped bumper cars, as opposed to normal lethal munitions-equipped bumper cars. This is still a Yakuza game. Apparently you don't need a secret society for that. The disruptor in all of it being the only guy properly dressing his face for the job, you, aforementioned Gore Magala, who is no longer doing the whole cutesy, oh, we don't technically kill anybody. No, they just straight up die. Alright, so the first thing you need to know, the Coast Guard is not real. It is a scare tactic made by the NSA to prevent you from doing this. Secondly, there have been 3, possibly 4 Yakuza games that came out before this, and expecting you to know what went on in any of them is looking more and more like a job for exclusively the high-functioning autists. Namely, me. They have avoided this problem entirely by having had the protagonist forget everything that happened. Who is Taiga Saijima? Why am I even here? Why does he go the extra mile? Don't know, I be plundering and whatnot. And therefore, my unenlightened neurotypicals is why I feel the need to go over the comprehensive history of Majimography. In the first chronological scene of the franchise not involving samurai, he's talking with his sworn brother, the previously mentioned Saijima, he went bald in the last video, about the prospect of shooting up a ramen shop as the infidels pivots. Saijima shows up to find out the info is wrong, and where even was Majima? Well, he was getting betrayed and stabbed with various sharp objects. After getting tortured by the Yakuza for a calendar year, Majima returns to the city as a cabaret-managing, high-masking, deranged sociopath with neither depth perception nor any measurable degree of sanity. In an effort to rejoin and pull some strings to get Saijima off of death row for the whole ramen shop thing, he has to do a bunch of petty jobs for the Yakuza and totally not get distracted by some girl that's more blind and traumatized than he is. After a series of increasingly indescribably complicated events, including him being single-handedly responsible for a nationwide raise in income tax, he eventually realizes that making sense is way more trouble than it's worth. Therefore, in the next game, we find him beating up the people he's in charge of with various household objects, but since it's a remake of the PS2 game where he wasn't that big of a deal, they decided to give him his sadomasochistic obsession with fighting Kiryu. I got that line from Wikipedia. By the way, have you ever gone to a cabaret and the fine lass assigned to have a drink with you was instead... So once you deal with that, you begin avoiding any conspicuous rooftops, garbage cans, and potholes in fear of what can happen, and additionally to avoid any searches by any eye-patch-wearing police officers, you get in a taxi. He's driving it. You look around town for something to do, but still end up feeling an odd presence in every bowling alley you visit, so eventually you just give in and head to the strip club. Can you guess who was on the pole? Needless to say, he's a pretty big deal now. Throughout the rest of the franchise, he's there doing stuff like in 2, where he runs a freelance construction company and unlicensed DoD unit. 3, where he's put in charge of basically the entire clan. 4, 5, and 6, where, he's there, I guess. He's not that insane anymore. And by Yakuza 7, he goes insane again for fun. I haven't played much of 8 though, so I couldn't tell you why he seems to be squatting in a desolate shack chugging hand sanitizer with the other Jimas, and why Dame is dying of cancer. And then there was that samurai game he was in, and that zombie game he was in where he was pink-pilling Daigo or something, I don't know, whatever. Majima, now, is here on Hawaii on business that he can't remember. Alright, great, we're up to speed. Welcome to Rich Island, a small, gated, hopefully not Jonestown-esque community home to a small child called Noah and his pet tiger cub, which is eventually just gonna eat him. We learn that he feels pretty cooped up here because the only 2 activities that pass the time are to get abused by your alcoholic father and to get abused more by pirates. That's fine, kid. I'm a pirate too because of the eye patch, because what else am I doing here? And I'm gonna commandeer their boat with violence and a knife. I'll just drag you with me. Now captain of the Goromaru. Wait, why does it have Goro in the name? Didn't he forget? I know. Goro's the name of the tiger. Our crew consists of the old cook, 4 miscellaneous low-level gaijin, aforementioned 12-year-old boy, and aforementioned alcoholic father. Okay, so that's a start, but we definitely need more manpower on our rocket-propelled giant barrel. To find more recruits, we need to enter the most dangerous place on Earth, commonly known as Normal Tourist Attraction Honolulu. Not an exaggeration, come to think of it, you get jumped a lot. Here's where you engage in the classic Yakuza gameplay with 30 or so detached side quests ranging from silly to Cthulhu-esque inconceivable, all typically rewarding you with a new crew member. Did they finally remove the 2/3 of the dialogue which doesn't need to be there that bores you if you don't really care what you're doing right then? No! Nonetheless, this is where the heat is, like that time where you get seduced by that tiger cub Majima. There was that time where me and a fellow scurvy dog received an HR training seminar on proper workplace conduct and the etiquette of managing the modern sensibilities of your team of coked up Somalians. I ended up impaling multiple people with cutlasses. And of course, there's a side quest where you assemble a mixer for your right-hand man. Where'd you get that? With live action cutscenes taking up 90% of your hard drive just to be able to display Ryuji Akiyama's colossal honkers, his Broly bombshells, should you fancy. These are actual comedy skits done by a popular Japanese comedian who plays that character in this game. Well, you wouldn't know that unless you lived there, so we're all very confused. Yeah, so he fumbles everybody. Excellent. We've got a team of statue street performers, polar bears, Ichi balls, Kazuga, and the Judgmen. Heck yeah, the Judgmen. I'm Yagami. It's probably a good time to mention that there is full outfit customization with at least more than 3 options for the first time. Go to the various clothing stores around the city and assemble your very own whatever this is.
This old man still got it.
Perfection. With your crew and your boat and you looking like that, it's time to turn this side of the Pacific Ocean into a mass grave. Your boat has a set of port and starboard cannons, 2 swivel machine guns, I'm lying, they go straight forward, your own personal rocket launcher, which begs the question, why can't I just bring that everywhere? Oh yeah, and it can drift! Yeah! I can only describe fighting as the boat with not as good as Black Flag, but it's fine because we're still mogging Ubisoft. Yeah, it's alright. You can play the video game. Can I have the mortar back now? Majima has 2 separate fighting styles, both of which, as stated before, straight up kill people. Mad Dog, a classic and consistent knife moveset well suited to hand out London handshakes. It's great for singling out enemies for isolated attacks. Nah, I'm just kidding, there wasn't an ad there. And by filling up your retractable schizophrenia meter, create several copies of yourself so you can stop playing the game. Sea Dog, a slower, heavy-hitting, there be treasure, life and features 3 different things to spam at the enemies you should not be fighting at this level you're at right now, such as the semi-automatic flintlock, the rope I don't use, and the cutlass boomerang maneuver, just like how real-life swords work. I personally recommend stuffing your fingers with every ring that buffs the flintlock for the resident King Von build to Marauding through Yeop block by holding and releasing 1 button. Sharknado, Jellyfish Field's Curse of the Sadistic Ape, and the Bird Tuba, whatever that does, all of which sharing the ability of emulsifying and straining everything in a 40-foot radius into a singular meat puddle. Sea Dog is better for pirate-based activities with its high damage and crowd control, while Mad Dog and its blue stolly music is better for taking down belligerents in Honolulu, which, obviously, man, those are the outfits you have in those places. This is not like a Dragon, the man who erased his name, where the red flavor style completely outclassed the blue Gatorade because they accidentally fat-fingered another 0 onto the charger tank damage. Waiter, more Judgment 1 Grand style, please! And also, both styles can do Akiyama air combos mixed with Lost Judgment Sky Dancer, both grape pressed into a barrel. It doesn't really work. So, the plot. Things just kind of happen now. Yeah. Things. I mean, yeah, it's Yakuza, but for a time we thought the more giant battle squid elements were just visual and tactile hallucinations as a consequence of playing as an even more schizophrenic Eric Andre.
Maximum output! Purple! Air this bitch out! Everybody dying!
But no, that just happened. Even if the whole game is a retelling and this man's psyche is not a very reliable narrator, if any given part of this is about 60% correct, then I'm led to the Chris Chan-esque conclusion that this franchise is in a parallel dimension where reality and Gmod have recently fused. So whatever, all Margie May knows is he's got one of those sweet Yakuza tats. You know, if you use one of the customization options, you can see it actually extends to the sides of his waist and his cheeks. How do you think he got that done? What, you think the tattoo guy saw his other demon fire dagger, his little matey, his landlubber? I got a couple more in down, but anyways, if I'm a Yakuza's, that mean that I'm probably here for that government job we got hired for, which is to go to the sacred Hawaiian Nele Island and clear it of toxic waste left by a radiation cult or something. I don't know, I said I didn't finish 8, I'm very confused. So you meet this guy called Shigaki, right? He tells you who you are and informs you that Saejima is en route to check on and beat you up for resorting to piracy. To be fair, you do this kind of thing a lot, and I don't know how to explain to him that the only part of my brain that was damaged was the part that mistakenly thinks plundering with the boys isn't worth it, but you know, he's a tomorrow problem. But besides being ionized by barrels of used fuel rods, what did the Yakuza do to pass the time on their island? Great question, Madlantis. There's a cave that people would stuff boats into to avoid dismantling costs, now being run as a pirate refuge by the British, the top dog of the Coliseum, and Raymond Law, who doesn't even really like pirates and just wants to use the place for like drug smuggling or whatever. First question you may have, degenerate gambling? Yeah. But here's where you're going to be using your crew to melt barges full of starving vagrants or anyone else above bronze rank. You know, it'd probably pay better to not only fight the poor, but I do it for the love of the game, really. And with plenty of side distractions, such as cannonball baseball, it's a lot of fun. I hate it. So yeah, you basically have a pirate-themed Disneyland with hookers. It's Majima. Majima is the hooker. So after taking a Honolulu break and enjoying a traditional Hawaiian luncheon, we start thinking, what is it that everyone seems to be looking for, like all the other pirates in the Yakuza with the Polycana? The lost treasure of Esperanza, apparently, millions upon millions of dollars worth of all varieties of gold-plated doodads, and something rumored to grant eternal life. Noah's father, Jason, spent his pirate career trying to track that down, and is doing it again specifically because Noah was born with, now minor asthma. Because in his weirdo mind and damaged liver, he decides that giving his son a 200-year-old magic concoction of God knows what is easier and safer than getting some Monolucast. The entire plot of the game revolves around trying to find that thing, and I'm not going to tell you about it, mostly because you don't tend to remember those kinds of things as you fight a New York banker's personal Metal Gear. Where it is, what's in it, and why Majima is a jihadist now are all questions you need to answer for yourself. Personally, I'd rather flap my gums about the Cooking Mama activity, which allows you to create a wide variety of culinary masterpieces with whatever you, no exaggeration, find on the floor. We got a number of fine Cantabrian dishes, such as the perpetual one-day blinding stew. Serve at your own discretion. So the collection of homebrewed beer that makes you go insane, what exactly are we going to be using this boat for? BUIs, obviously, what do you think? In Chapter 2, you meet one of Jason's old scallywags who promptly dies on sight. His daughter then pledges to reacquire his crack rock, asks to join our crew, and picks up a gun. Given that this is, of course, not concerning in any way, shape, or form, we decide to begin attacking the most dangerous pirate faction on the high seas Pisces. Going to New Archipelago is definitely not in Hawaii at this point to beat up the 4 pirate kings with your entire boat crew. But maybe the real treasure oh, okay. Not to mention, like, golfing? And of course, the Sicko Snap minigame, where you take tour buses around, but instead of sightseeing, we're looking for all kinds of freaky men hiding in the underbrush. I don't know why, my client does not inform me why he needs these photos. I don't think about it for that reason, but you do get the Dracula fit from it.
I've been fully consumed by hatred, jealousy, and lust. I went dark a long time ago. Kinda? The worms in my head keep talking. Show bitch ass up before I slap the dog shit out of you. The worms! I want to watch you burn. I have no backbone. I'm loyal to whoever pays the most.
That is, of course, legacy content like Mahjong, the demonic evil tabletop game with no rules, minimum wage Uber Eats, and the ability to have your friends tell you about their problems as you pretend to care.
Like a monument to the sins of humanity.
What? The game also comes pre-baked with Spotify and all the licensed music it can get, which usually in video games is kind of pointless, but we got Angry Birds. What else would you listen to? We got Angry Birds. Where am I going with this? What, you want some kind of resolution? Alright, fine. As I sit in my custom-made Saejima ship wearing my elegantly tailored and slightly stolen Kiryu outfit, which I would have if the newsletter actually worked, I realize that this is one of the dumbest modern high-profile experiences I've ever tasted, and with the barrel of apocalyptic burnout between my eyes this time of year, I should not have done that. It's gonna be your job to give it a solid lick. For me, my little baby doo-boo. Whatever, cool closing line. I feel a song coming on.
It took me 10 years to find